So as the United States is still facing 40-year high inflation, and with the most recent CPI report coming in at 8.3% year over year, we're facing now another crisis with the railroad industry, as now Amtrak is canceling all long distance routes amid the looming rail strike. So the strike is set to happen this coming Friday if a deal is not struck between the union and the companies, and of course it's over money. My name is Brian Barsoon, upload YouTube content daily. Like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the content, and hit the notification bell to see my videos when they go live. But just going into this story and many others, I'm going to lead with this one from CBS News. Amtrak cancels all long-distance routes amid looming rail strike. Amtrak said it's canceling all long-distance trips starting on Thursday amid a looming railway strike that could disrupt the U.S. economy, resulting in lost productivity of $2 billion per day. So you may not take the train all the time. I don't take the train all the time, but it's highly important to the supply chain of this country. You may remember the supply chain crisis from last year and going into early this year with all the ports being blocked up and backed up and being unable to get the goods off of the ships. Now, just magnify that by 10 when it comes to the railroad industry, because the railroad industry covers a lot of ground, literally. They ship consumer goods, food, oil, gas. Pretty much everything you can think of comes off of a train. Chlorine for your drinking water and for pools. Obviously everyone thinks of chlorine when they go in a pool, but it's also used in the water treatment process as well. So if you want to be like Jackson, Mississippi and have brown water and boil it out of a pot, you should probably be paying attention to the story, and that's why I'm covering it. So the rail industry is now in a dispute with the companies over pay, and like I said, we're reporting $2 billion a day of loss if this is not resolved. And of course, while this is going on, we have our great president sitting in vehicles in Detroit trying to prop up the car industry. So just looking at this story here, Biden tests out luxury vehicles as inflation saps U.S. wages and savings. So Biden was seen in a gas-guzzling Corvette, a Z06, starting at $105,000, and then also promoting electric vehicles, Chevrolet Silverado EV, Ford Mustang Mach-E, which are still under $50,000. The Inflation Reduction Act did allow for tax credits of $7,500 for new vehicles, and then GM and Ford, seemingly with perfect timing, increased the price of their vehicles by $7,500. So that tax credit you're getting is pretty much pointless at this point. So it's so out of touch. It's not enough memes to cover in the video about how clueless this president is when it comes to certain things. So, and then he even stepped on his own foot by tweeting, being in a gas vehicle when he's all about electric vehicles. I mean, I'm for both. I like electric vehicles too, but just cutting your kneecaps off of gas vehicles and just jumping straight to electric vehicles is idiotic, in my opinion. You need to do a slow progression of this. That's going to take probably generations, but he wants to just do it right away. So that's why, there's inflation. Doing this while, inflation's still at 8.3%. Obviously, the stock market, I don't know if you pay attention to that, has taken a pretty big hit in the last couple of days. Lost about 5% of its value in one day after the CPI came out. And now they're also reporting that hourly earnings are down almost 3% in August, year over year. And money in bank accounts that don't pay interest lost 8.3%. So that money you had in your account, a lot shorter. I don't have to tell you that. But he's walking around touting all these vehicles. Meanwhile, the rail industry is about to fall apart. And you would say, oh, there's a Secretary of Transportation for that. Oh, that's Pete Buttigieg, Mayor Pete. I forgot he was on paternity leave for about 4 months earlier this year. I'm glad you can make it back. And if you're not trying to fix the airline industry, maybe you should focus on the rail industry too. You're like a ghost. Nobody's seen you. Maybe do something with your job. And that's nothing against who he is. It's just doing your job. If I had a job, my boss would want me to do it. So now if we look at the story here from Fox, which is also echoing the sentiments of the labor strike, they go into more detail. It could have devastating consequences for the U.S. economy. It will significantly set back any progress made in the past year to curb U.S. inflation rates. It has been going down slightly, a couple tenths of percentage points at a time. Obviously not what we want. We want it to go back down to 1 or 2%, which is the normal every year, which is standard. But it's coming down a little. Obviously, food prices are not coming down. Those are the main things that are driving the inflation: energy and food. Those are the two things that pretty much every single person in this country and on earth need. Those are the two things driving it. The Biden administration has been involved in negotiations to avert a strike. Now it's also echoing the $2 billion per day number. So it started with the long distance travel. So if you wanted to take a train from one part of the country to another, that takes several days. They're stopping service on that. And there's a whole litany list of different rail companies that have already stopped service already. So hopefully this gets avoided, and just the failed policies of this administration are just an absolute joke at this point. If this rail strike goes through, you don't even want to know what's going to happen. Just double every price that you see in the supermarket. Double the gas price, because a lot of the gas we get because of the Keystone Pipeline not being in service, because President Biden only wants to lease 100,000 acres of land during his presidency. Meanwhile, Obama, Bush, Trump, they all did in the millions. Even Richard Nixon did 4 million acres of land that was leased during his presidency. Biden has done a tenth, not even a 20th of that. It's just sad. Like I said before, you have to have oil and gas for the short term, and then electric vehicles in the long term. It's not a hard process here. But if you want to just cut it off, completely, this is what happens. Speaking of failed policies, you may be asking yourself, how can we get back on the right track? Well, this certainly isn't one way to do it, by kneecapping and handicapping the people that protect our country, the military. As this article from the Post Millennial writes, Army advises struggling military families to apply for food stamps. Food stamps. The military. I mean, I know the military doesn't get paid a lot, but you got to read this. This is ridiculous. The U.S. Army's official website released an advisory for military families struggling with finances due to inflation. So the average wage is about $21,000 a year for a serviceman, which is paltry. You're talking that's like $10 an hour, not even. I don't know the exact math, but it's pretty bad. It's probably minimum wage. And so now they're telling them, because of inflation, to go on SNAP benefits or food stamps. You would think the people you want protecting your country to be well fed at least, but now they're going to be on food stamps. More great policies by this administration. Just gets better and better. And this guy says it's best. What they need is more money. The Defense Department's flat-footed response to inflation will result in a real and cumulative pay cut for service members. And they wonder why the military is struggling to recruit. Probably partly because of pay, and obviously other factors as well that I can't mention on YouTube. But here we go. Base salary for an Army private is $22,000. We'll just round up, according to GoArmy.com. Well below the national average of $53,490 per year, based on latest data. Could we at least bump that up to like $30,000? It's not that hard. You want to dole out checks left and right to people. Gave everyone a stimulus check, including myself. I'm not going to lie. $1,200. Let's put that money towards people who are protecting us, like the military. It's not that hard. And this is a pretty good tweet here from Coda Vets. This is part of the recruiting and retention issue. Our nation is in trouble. Pentagon tells struggling Army soldiers' families to apply for food stamps. It's one thing after the other, just constantly. This whole rail thing is insane too. There's a president board that may step in. The administration might step in to fix the problem if they can't come to an agreement. But why does it even have to come to that point? Just if you have better policies, then the people will get paid more. He's supposed to be the big union president. He's for labor unions. This is where he needs to step up. This is where President Biden needs to step in. This is like the easiest win in the world. It's just on a silver platter. Just come in, give them what they want, give them their money. They're being overworked, the railway workers, and just pay them and give them time off. Don't penalize them when they go to the doctor and dock their pay like they're doing right now. And just that's it. I don't get it. Like, truck drivers, railroad workers, those are jobs that I know myself. If I had to do it, I'd do it, but I don't choose to do that job. It's very hard, and God bless them. If you're watching this video and you're doing that, thank you. I want you to keep your job and be paid well. This isn't hard here to figure out. But, you know, the president wants to have an inflation reduction party at the White House and celebrate his plan that went through. That it was so bad that CNN even had to cut away on the feed because even they realized, yeah, this isn't a good look. Inflation's still at 8%. Why are we celebrating this? Nobody knows. But anyway, that's my take today on all the news going on. Like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Comment down below if you have any opinions on the topics I covered today. And hit that notification bell if you'd like to be notified when my videos go live. And thanks for watching, and take care.